Okay, so you've decided to put your property in the market, and now you're determined, what do I need to do to prep my home for sale? There's 5 points I'm going to share with you here in this video that will give you some direction. And it doesn't mean you have to do all of these, but these are probably the most value-added points that you can focus on. Number one is focus on your curb appeal. When buyers are starting their search for properties, most of them are starting online, and that's your first showing, is the presentation of the property online. What's the first thing that's presented when your property is online? Usually the primary picture, which is the outside of the home. And you'd be surprised at how many people will eliminate your home from their selection process simply because they don't like the curb appeal. They don't like the way that the primary picture looks. They won't even go past that and look at more. When you're looking at properties, you probably do the same thing. You might have driven by one that you saw was for sale in an ad online. You drove by and said, oh my gosh, it doesn't look anything like the pictures. So we do judge properties quickly on their outside curb appeal. So taking care of that, fresh mulch, making sure the grass is cut, making sure everything is crisp as possible, can really help. Number two is declutter. Right or wrong, buyers make assumptions based off of what they see in the home. And we don't usually live like we're selling our home. We have stuff sitting out, we're busy. We've got things that we use. We don't want to put them away. We don't want to have our counters clean at all times. Life gets in the way. So when you're getting ready to present your property for sale, though, you do want to declutter those things because it affects the buyer's impression of the home. And we want them focused on the home. We want them visualizing what they can do when they bring all their stuff in, not visualizing all of your stuff that's in there, especially in the photos for sure, but also in your showings. Number three is do a deep clean. On a daily basis, when you're living in your property, if you've owned a home or a condo or an apartment for any period of time, you get used to kind of, what's going on in your home. And it's just kind of where it's just your natural element. And buyers look in more detail a lot of times when they go in. So it's important, invest in a good deep cleaning. If you are very, very meticulous about that and you do that on a weekly basis, you're probably fine. If you're like most people though, and it needs that deep clean, take care of that, because the buyers do see some of the details that we don't notice in our everyday life, and it will make a difference. Number four is make any of the necessary repairs that are out there in your home that need to be done. Make those before you go online and actually start showing the property. And these are things where a great example would be the cracked window in the garage, where maybe you got hit by a baseball. It's not doing anything to the functionality of the home. Nobody lives in the garage. It doesn't bother you when you see it. In fact, the shades are down. It's not that big a deal. But when buyers see stuff like that, they go, man, that thing looks like it's been broken for a while. And then all of a sudden they make judgments about the rest of the property. Well, if they left the garage door or the garage window broken like that for a while, I wonder what else in the home they haven't addressed up to this point. So those little things that aren't probably very expensive, they don't bother you, go ahead and take care of those to eliminate any of the potential drawbacks that the buyers see if they discover them. And then the last thing I'll talk about is staging. And this isn't a necessity in most properties. Some areas and some neighborhoods and some homes, some price points, it can be a great value add to the listing. But the reality is most of the time they cost money, and you have to balance the investment that you're going to make and the return that you're going to get. So always good to talk to the professional, determine whether or not the investment in staging, whether it's virtual in photos or if it's actually staging a vacant property, does that make sense? There's no reason to spend money on something if it doesn't get you a return by either selling for more money or selling sooner. So keep those 5 points in mind when you're getting ready to prep your home for sale. And as always, reach out to me if you have any questions specifically about your property or what you need to do to prep. I'm happy to answer for any of those for you. And I just appreciate you continuing to allow me to be your real estate resource. Thanks so much.